As dawn cracked the horizon, casting a gentle glow over the daunting expanse of the towering isle, Percival began his descent. The towering cliffs stretched skywards, defying the heavens with their majestic might. With each precarious step down the craggy face, Percival's hands grappled with the ancient rock, his resolve as steadfast as the stone itself. Though the sun arced across the sky, marking the passage of time with its westward crawl, the earth below remained shrouded in a dense cloak of clouds, as if guarding the secrets of the land beneath from prying eyes. Despite his muscles aching from the relentless climb, Percival's spirit never wavered. Each ledge conquered brought him closer to his goal. Each foothold was a triumph over the vertiginous heights. And when the veil of clouds at last thinned to reveal the ground beneath, a rush of elation surged through Percival's veins. Overcome with the nearness of his goal, his attention faltered just long enough for his grip to slacken. With a startled gasp, he found himself in freefall. The wind howling past his ears, a wild chorus accompanying his descent. The landing was abrupt and jarring, sending clouds of dust skyward. As the haze settled, Percival found himself not alone, but in the presence of a peculiar creature, one that was an enigma to his senses. Its form was an intricate tapestry of the bizarre and fantastical, an embodiment of the unknown realms he had yet to explore. With a mixture of wonder and caution, Percival approached the creature, extending greetings and narrating his tale in a hopeful torrent of words. The creature, however, regarded him with a gaze as opaque as the mist-shrouded isle above, its mind clearly unattuned to the language of men. Undeterred by the absence of dialogue, Percival observed as the creature, perhaps disinterested or simply following some unfathomable instinct, began to amble away. A spark of curiosity ignited within him, urging his legs to follow. The creature, sensing the pursuit, quickened its pace and dashed off with surprising alacrity, leading Percival through a serpentine chase until they reached the unexpected gathering of street performers. Cats, with a flourish of his wrist, sent papers ablaze, crafting a dance of flames that captivated Percival's sight. Beside him, Elba conducted illusions that defied explanation, a monkey appearing and disappearing through hoops as if slipping between worlds. The troupe's third member, aloof and disengaged, withheld his talents in the absence of an audience worthy of his skills. Yet to Percival, their acts were a cascade of wonder, the magic he sought woven into the very fabric of their performance. His arrival, a sudden breach in the solitude of their circle, was met with bemusement and an inkling of opportunity. Percival's entreaty for an encore of their mysterious arts persuaded Donnie, the reluctant performer, to seize the moment, conjuring a spectacle that spirited Percival into the air, laughter spilling from him in delight. The laughter was short-lived, for in the midst of revelry, Donnie had deftly helped himself to Percival's meager possessions. With the troupe in tow, he took flight, leaving behind the mirage of their camaraderie. As they vanished into the distance, reproachful voices arose among them, berating Donnie for his heartless trickery. The notion of leaving a mere boy stranded, bereft of his belongings, in such a desolate expanse weighed heavily upon their consciences. But guilt would not have its day. Percival's resilience was not to be underestimated. With a burst of extraordinary speed and agility, he soon overtook the performers, standing before them with a stoicism that belied his youthful appearance. As Donnie's apologies tumbled forth, laced with a newfound respect and apprehension for the boy's latent power, Percival's thoughts were elsewhere, fixated on the elusive figure of Ironside. Confiding in the troupe, he unveiled the tangled threads of his heritage and his need to face the man who had slain his grandfather. Was it a quest fueled by vengeance or a desperate search for understanding? Percival himself seemed caught in the tumultuous sea between the two. And though the performers knew naught of Ironside, they spoke of a village on the horizon, a place where whispers and rumors might shed light on the shadows of Percival's past. A glimmer of hope alighted in Percival's eyes, a willingness to venture forth with these unlikely companions. The pact was sealed with Donnie's insistence on a performance, Percival's admission into their fold, his unique talent serving as his passage fee into the heart of the village and, perhaps, closer to the truth he sought. As the shadows lengthened and the caravan rolled on through the thickening twilight, the performers decided to test Percival's skills in a more traditional manner. They handed him a bow and a quiver of arrows, their own version of a rite of passage for the young traveler. Percival, eager to demonstrate his worth, notched an arrow with an unsteady hand, only to release it in a direction quite unintended. The arrow sailed perilously close to Donnie, who stood aghast, frozen behind the intended target. Laughter and chiding followed, but it was clear that the troupe bore no ill will. Instead, they seemed to embrace Percival's spirit, if not his marksmanship. The journey resumed, the cart's wheels murmuring against the worn path as the group shared stories and reflections under a canopy of stars. Donnie, usually a man of few words, voiced his discontent with their fate as mere entertainers, far from the knights they once aspired to be. Cats, ever the philosopher, responded with a heartfelt monologue about the nobility of their current path, despite it being strewn with lost dreams and unmet expectations. The conversation meandered to tales of the holy knights, protectors of the realm, whose valor and sacrifices were the stuff of legend. Percival listened with rapt attention, the notion of such knights igniting a sense of connection with his own heritage. The revelation that he was born of that same lineage brought an air of respect and curiosity from the performers, who began to view him in a new light. Their camaraderie was abruptly shattered by the desperate cries of villagers, who came running towards them, pleading for assistance against a wolf that had plagued their peaceful settlement. Donnie, perhaps seeking redemption or simply a bed for the night, hastily volunteered their makeshift brigade to confront the beast. It was a decision made in haste, which soon unraveled as the wolf's fearsome visage revealed the folly of facing such a creature without proper arms or training. The situation turned dire, and the call for the true holy knights rang out in earnest, but not before Percival, driven by a core of bravery and a dash of naivety, lunged from the safety of the cart to face the feral adversary. His initial efforts were comically futile, his arrows turning back upon him like mischievous sprites. Yet, when Donnie leaped to his defense, sustaining a wound in the process, Percival found an inner reservoir of strength. With a primal cry and a slap that echoed through the trees, he felled the wolf, leaving the villagers and his companions in awe of the unsuspected power that dwelled within him. The victory was bittersweet. A symbol discovered on the wolf hinted at a conspiracy, a darker thread woven into the tapestry of Percival's journey. An observer, a knight cloaked in the shadows of magic and malice, noted the boy's victory. His interest piqued. He vowed to confront the child who defied his familiar with such ferocity. In the aftermath, as the village came alive with tales of monstrosities in the night and as Donnie received the care of his comrades, the name of Percival was whispered with reverence. The boy, with the scar etched deep across his torso, a physical riddle of his resilience, had been led by Alba to the lake to rest and recover. As the water's calm surface reflected the enigma of his past, the scar stood as a silent chronicle of trials endured, and a harbinger of the challenges that lay in wait for the young hero whose story was just beginning to unfold. Percival's youthful countenance, marked by a deep scar, belied the gravity of his experience, evoking a strange blend of innocence and fortitude in Elba's eyes. She observed him with a mix of maternal care and respect, recognizing the maturity required to bear such a wound. As they sat together, Elba was captivated by Percival's meticulous recounting of his grandfather's stories, his mind always turning over the old tales, seeking truth in their allegory. When the conversation drifted to Donnie's impromptu defense, Elba posited that perhaps Percival's own daring leap to save the villagers had rekindled a flame of valor in Donnie's heart. It was a moment that suggested even a lapsed dream could stir once more in the presence of genuine heroism. Percival, intrigued by the concept of holy knights, pressed Elba for details. She obliged, painting a picture of noble warriors whose might and magic were bound to the service of justice, far surpassing the playful prestidigitation they had witnessed that day. As night descended, the villagers celebrated with abandon, raising cups of sweet berry juice in honor of Percival. He found himself swept up in the revelry, the simple pleasure of the drink momentarily washing away his burdens. Elba's cheeks tinged with red upon the revelation of Percival's age, her embarrassment recalling their lake encounter in a new light, not as a guardian and child, but as equals. The festivities were punctured by Percival's inquiries for Ironside, his frustration mounting with each negative response. His call into the night may have been born from desperation, but it was answered by Pelagard, the holy knight with a shared history with Percival's forebears. The man descended, not just as a bearer of knowledge, but as a challenge to Percival's quest. While admiration for the boy's fearlessness was evident in his tone, Pelagard was reluctant to reveal more without testing Percival's mettle in combat. The villagers, sensing the tension in the air, melted away into the safety of their homes, intuiting the volatility of the encounter to come. The air seemed to hold its breath as the two figures, young and old, each bearing the weight of their legacy, prepared to collide in a test of strength and will. In the heat of the battle, Percival's raw, unaided strength is enough to unsettle Pelagard, a holy knight, hinting at a wellspring of potential within the young hero. When Pelagard sets the terms of their fight, it becomes clear that this encounter is more than a battle, it's a crossroads for Percival's destiny. Pelagard's interest in training Percival speaks to a recognition of his latent abilities, despite Percival's lack of magical prowess. As the fight escalates, Percival's resilience shines. His tenacity, even in the face of Pelagard's overpowering strikes, is the mark of a true protagonist, and it's this very spirit that resonates with the onlooking villagers, instilling a sense of hope and bravery. When a young spectator's cheer penetrates the chaos, Percival taps into something deep within, a surge of magic, a spark of his latent power. This turning point is critical, marking Percival's journey of self-discovery and power awakening. Pelagard's shock suggests a mixture of betrayal and awe, recognizing that Percival may have been unaware of his own latent magic. The video's cliffhanger ending, leaving viewers yearning for the resolution of this magical awakening, plays on a classic storytelling trope. the promise of continued adventure, and the potential for growth and learning on Percival's part fuel the anticipation for what's to come. Will Percival master his newfound abilities? How will this change the dynamic between him and Pelagard? The tale of Percival is just beginning to unfold. And this was another video on the channel Anicaps. If you liked it and want more videos like this, subscribe and leave a like. See you in the next one.